Hello, Robin at Toadstool Tarot here. Um, Today I'm unboxing a series of I Ching cards. If you're not familiar with the I Ching, this is a Chinese method of divination that dates back far beyond tarot to about 1000 BC. This particular deck is by AGM Urania, and I Ching was usually originally done from tossed yarrow stalks and then updated only fairly recently by the use of tossing coins to determine something called trigrams, which become hexagrams. Basically, it's a binary system of 6 lines that are either solid or broken lines stacked. And somebody here, probably more than one people, have made that even easier than tossing coins by devising a deck of cards with the hexagrams on them. This contains 64 cards or hexagrams. I'm not certain if that is the entire number of hexagrams. I assume so. I assume they could have done more if there were more in the original system. Each of these cards, I picked this deck actually because, it's by Klaus Holitzka, Klaus Holitzka, and it comes with a booklet. These are done in the style of classical Chinese watercolor painting. And that's the reason I picked this particular deck, because it's not just the hexagrams, but they're nice sort of like silhouette style watercolors, which may provide some intuitive nature to readings for you. The cards do have little numbers at the bottom of them, so you can identify them. You really need the book to determine the meanings of the cards. Those are the backs. Sorry. They're semi-glossy, decent cardstock. Anyway, that's number 1. Number 2. I don't know if, I think these probably do have specific names to each card in the book. I can look that up in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the cards so you can see some of the Chinese painting images that accompany the hexagrams on these cards. The hexagrams are in sort of a rose gold color. The rest of the images are limited to red and black. And some of you may appreciate the simplicity of some of these painted images. I haven't worked with these cards yet, but I thought this might be an interesting deck to own and have as a divinatory alternative to tarot or Marseille or Lenormand. Some of the images are very abstract, others are a bit more figurative. And there are other decks that just have the hexagrams featured in a uniform manner. I like these specifically because of the black Chinese ink paintings or drawings. I think back in the late 60s or early 70s, about the same time that tarot regained popularity during the sort of dawning of the age of Aquarius or the hippie movement, people became interested in I Ching, and there's a standard text that they bought. And several people, including the musician John Cage, adopted this method of chance, of tossing coins, to help him in the compositional process of creating his music. Well, well, well. Isn't that a fine kettle of fish? The numbers on the cards are very small and unobtrusive. You can see in the red box there, number 60. They're very small, very subtle. And the book is reasonably thick, substantial. It's 116 pages long, and thankfully the cards have simple numbers on them, otherwise it would be much harder to find the hexagrams. I think there's usually a chart that is gone by, and I'm not sure whether these are built from the bottom up or the top down. I think from the bottom up. But it's kind of interesting that it's an old binary system, which is what I believe our computers use now. See if I can find one that, here, let's look at this one. This looks interesting. Looks like self-confrontation in a mirror. This is number, looks like 61. Let's see what that says. 61, inner truth. How appropriate. You must have access to what lies inside yourself and other people to use the power of inner truth. Approach your environment as openly and free of prejudice as possible. When judging conditions, relationships, or people, try to distance yourself from your own desires and aims. This is the only way you can achieve an objective point of view without distorting reality. Even people who are difficult to approach will open up to you, and you yourself will learn to understand their motives. Insight into inner truth gives your mind clarity and brings goodness and sincerity to your deep feelings and character. An attitude which arises quite naturally in you brings the friendship of other people. And then it breaks down line by line. I'm not quite clear on that. Line 6, you may well achieve something temporarily by just using sweet words, but for other people, action must follow in order to attain lasting success. Take this into consideration if you want to realize your aims. Line 5, you still have something to learn before you achieve unity and cooperation. Above all, this applies to sensitivity and finding out about desires and yearnings of your fellow human beings. Line 4, you must devote yourself to more complex goals in order to find your inner truth. You foster your own inner freedom by avoiding bias and watching out for prejudice. Line 3, you are still looking for too much strength and support from the outside world. The source of your strength is within your own inner being. The strength doesn't depend on your experiencing concord and harmony with your environment now. Line 2, inner truth and true values gain influence upon you. If your words and actions concur, then your friends approach you filled with sympathy and joy. Line 1, have a little more faith in your own insight and personal principles. You will thus gain strength and security even if you make a few mistakes occasionally. This is always better than showing no clear lines. So there you have it. That's the I Ching cards from AGM. 1999, 2013. So maybe that's useful to you. Till next time. Bye.